Hello and welcome to the KC Gamers Podcast. I'm your host Daniel,
and I'm Jeff.
And we've got going to be a short show today.
Kind of short, yeah. We got a lot of stuff to cover though, so kind of shorter topics. But this weekend, or actually, first thing I want to go over we have a mailbag out now. So I think at the start of each episode, we kind of go through our mailbag and kind of read some of these some topics that we get sent in, or at some point during our episodes, and kind of talk about stuff that our listeners send in. So if you guys want to have a chance at being featured on our podcast through our mailbag, go ahead and send an email to kcgamersnetwork@gmail.com. That's kcgamersnetwork@gmail.com. It's no spaces or periods or anything. But go ahead and send an email our way. We might read it and discuss it on the next episode.
Yeah. And I was at a convention this past weekend.
Yes. Daniel attended Tokyo and Tulsa last weekend. It's kind of more of an anime, Japanese kind of convention, con out in Tulsa, Texas. Is that in Texas?
No,
it's Oklahoma.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Texas would be like 8 hours away, but yeah, I was at that the past weekend, and I had fun, but I talked about how they had a huge gaming room.
Yes,
like it was the same this year. It was ridiculous. They had
you were telling me they had these Battletech
yes.
pods, and I've actually heard of these before. I just didn't recognize it by the way you described them to me, and from the pictures. I have actually heard of these before, though. I think we found out what the name was. Do you remember what it was? Because I forgot.
Battletech.
Battletech, that's right. Battletech Battle Pods, I think, is what it's called, and they have those set up at a couple of places, but they do a lot of They go to a lot of conventions set up there. But I think you told me it was like a mech sim type experience.
Yes, and they even had several of them. Yeah.
Do they have like any motion simulation stuff? Because they didn't look like.
Because I've never actually gone in one of them. I know one of our friends has gone into them. I'll have to ask him, but
yeah.
I think you battle other people.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, because they all seem to be connected.
And there was also like a TV screen that I think showed what was going on between all of the
that's pretty cool.
different players. Mm-hmm. But I just glanced at it and took pictures and stuff. I didn't, because the thing is, there was like a bag check to get in, and the bag check was upstairs, and it's like, I don't want to have to check my bag in every time I want to go into the game room.
Seems like kind of it could be kind of a hassle, you know.
Yeah, a lot of conventions are starting to do this kind of stuff. They get the bigger.
I can understand. Yeah, I mean, the bigger it is, you know, obviously the more security precautions they have to take, and you know, I can understand the concern.
But it's like you can do it. Have a bag check at the front of the room, and have me drop off my stuff right there, and then I can go walk in there. And then when I leave, I can get my bag. Like, it should be done like that, because there was plenty of room in there to do a bag check. I'm not quite hopefully they get that fixed next year. I told them.
Like I said, I can understand. You know, they don't want people stealing, you know, tiny stuff. Like, if they have some memorabilia on display, they don't want people, like, you know, tossing down a bag or something.
I think the only thing you could steal is, I know a lot of game rooms, they do, like, you have to swap, like, your keys or like something to them for like a game. You check out a game and you put it in the console. But those are like small controlled areas. This is a giant gaming room. So
I'm just gonna stick this Battletech pod in my bag.
Yeah, you're not gonna get away with that. But they also had in there like they had the retro stuff, of course. They also had like Sega arcade machines.
Yeah, you said they had a lot of arcade machines.
And they also had
pictures. Yeah.
It looked like you could set up your desktop in there.
I know a lot of places do that. I know there's a place out here in kind of the Overland Park area. I think just opened up recently. I forgot what it's called, and I feel so horrible for plugging this place without knowing its name. But they opened up. You can take your desktop. Yeah, you can take your desktop in there. You think you like pay $20 and you just go in there with your desktop and play LAN multiplayer games with other people. Part of the problem for me is that I have trouble. Like me and a couple other friends, we've tried organizing LAN parties before. The problem is we just have trouble agreeing on a LAN multiplayer game that we all want to play, and end up just like playing Smash Brothers or something.
Yeah, there was one by me, but it looked like it shut down like a year ago.
Yeah, and
these things are popping up though.
There was a place near us called Guerrilla Games that
well, it wasn't that one, but
yeah, they just closed. And one thing I thought, I drove past there because I saw some lights on there. I was like, oh hey, maybe because I drove past there a few days ago. And I was like, everything's gone. And then because the store was empty, and I drove back there, I saw some lights on the inside, and I was like, oh hey, maybe they were just like restocking. And I drive past there. It's a Sprint store, but they still have the Guerrilla Games signage over the store.
They still got... when I went in there a day before it closed, there was like another game store. The people were coming over there, and they were asking for like to buy like the display stuff because it had like the display shelves because it had like the PlayStation or Xbox logos on them and stuff. They wanted those. They were buying those. I was like, if I had money,
that's
maybe I could buy one of...
Something that is something that I would actually really like too. Those would be back on topic. Tokyo and Tulsa.
I had fun. I met it's more anime, and I'm into anime as well. But there's a lot of good guests there. Surprise guests that weren't on the guest list, but were actually there. And it was like, I was like, freaking out because J. Michael Tatum.
I think you were telling me that some of the developers from Tripwire Interactive were there. Our listeners. Yeah, they were the people who made Killing Floor. They also made the Red Orchestra games, Red Orchestra 1 and Red Orchestra 2. I played Red Orchestra 1 way back in the day. One of the first games I had on Steam actually. I have very, very positive memories of it. Kind of a more semi-realistic World War II shooter. Not the prettiest looking game, but I thought it was fantastic. Lots of really cool vehicle stuff.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I didn't get to talk to any of the developers there. They had some other indie devs there, and it's just because there was other stuff going on that I had to take care of, but worrying about other things, which seems to happen a lot.
Well,
at conventions, but anyway, that was my weekend.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting because I need to go with you to some of these conventions sometimes. Maybe we can like have a table and do a live podcast.
Well, the thing with those conventions, there's going to be one in town, Kansas City.
That's right.
January,
what is it called?
GTX KC.
Mm-hmm. And they are actually currently responsible for doing a lot of the game rooms at a lot of the local Kansas City area game or anime conventions and whatnot.
Pretty much every anime convention I've been at.
I think they do Kansas City Comic Con, don't they?
I don't know.
I don't know if they have.
I don't know how Comic Cons work. I've never been to one.
Yeah.
I'm going to one maybe in 2 weeks. Kansas City Comic Con in town.
It's August, the weekend of August. Was that 7th, 8th, and 9th, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyone's interested, look for Dan, hunt him down, and don't hurt him. I need him on the show. Got a blood contract.
Sean Astin's going to be there. Sam from Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who else is going to be there. I'll have to look. Maybe there's some game people. Hopefully, I really need to look into that because if there is, I know I'm going to be doing that weekend. I'm going to be getting some connections.
Yeah.
That's how you're
need those guest stars desperately. Please, for the love of God, get us some guest stars, Dan.
Yeah, we're in the talks with one right now. But...
Yeah, we mentioned this in our last episode. Who was it again?
Rebecca Heineman.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how to pronounce the last.
Bug her on Twitter. Tell her that we're the best show and that she needs to be on our show.
Yeah, our best show of 10 views of video.
Hey, that's more than 9 and 8 and a couple other numbers. So anyways, may have trying to get a guest on our show for the next episode. Going to talk about I think it was Doom on 3DO and some interesting stuff behind that.
Yeah, how the CEO of, they're called Art Data Interactive. They very short-lived because the CEO had no idea how to make games.
Now, was Art Data Interactive the company that made the 3DO, or
No.
They were the
They
company
were the
that was
ones
handling
that
the ports.
handled the ports.
Now, I've always been a little confused about the 3DO. Now, was 3DO the name of the company that made the 3DO, or is the 3DO the name of the system? Because I know there's also 3DO, which is the company that made the Army Men games.
I think it's just 3DO.
That always confused me, and it's always been kind of like because they're both the same
No, it's
name.
Panasonic.
Panasonic, they made it. Then 3DO, the company, from my understanding, they had some games on the 3DO, but from what I understand, their games, their company was not actually associated with Panasonic or the 3DO system, from a legal stance.
Yeah,
they made the Army Men games. I think they actually first released the first one exclusively as a PC game, but that's always been a little confusing. The 3DO is kind of that mystery system for me. It's the one I've never, because I collect old games. I think I mentioned this in our last episode. I collect old game systems, and the 3DO is the one that's been so elusive. Just trying to find a good price for it. It's been so elusive. Been trying to find one for so long. So I'm hoping to find one eventually. We've seen some good deals recently, so hopefully we'll see something soon.
Yeah, and going back to that, the guy, he told her to oh, here's the CD. You can just rip the source code off that. That'll work. And then
decompile it.
She ended up just taking she contacted ID Software and talked to John Carmack and was like, to get the source code, and they sent her the source code for the PC version. And then I think she ended up getting the Jaguar version source code, I think, and then getting that.
Which, from what I understand, is actually it's considered the definitive version, except that it does not have any music.
Or I think it had custom music.
Maybe it did. Anyways,
or I don't know. We'll see if we can get her on. Explain it better.
So another thing, one thing I found this actually today, about a couple hours before we actually started doing the podcast tonight. It's a game called Eater. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's named after one of the Norse mythology gods, EITR. It's kind of a 2D action RPG, kind of similar looking to Dark Souls in a couple of ways. It looks really interesting. I think it's being published by Devolver Interactive. I sent you a trailer for it. Do you have a chance to watch it?
Yeah, I saw.
Okay. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? Because I don't know. I don't think you've really played too many of the Souls games.
I played Demon's Souls.
Okay.
Back before it was cool. Or I played Demon's Souls and then Dark Souls came along and made it mainstream. But
so what did you think about Eater and its gameplay trailer?
I mean, it looked nice. I mean,
it's got this kind of pixel style, this pixel art style that I really like. Because I'm not too big of a fan of pixel art, even though my one game on the Google Play Store uses pixel art. But that's because I'm a bad artist. So, anyways, I feel like it has this kind of pixel art style that's very high res and very clean and is very fluid. It has very fluid animation, and I love that so much. It just looks so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very pleasing to the eye. I feel like what are your impressions? I kind of interrupted you earlier.
I mean, it looks smooth, and I can't really tell. I'd have to play it, but it looks like it has. It just looks. I'm trying to think of the word. It's because the pixels is kind of like high definition, kind of.
But
it's not.
Yeah, it's like this kind of high detail pixel art. Like the pixels are very small, but it still manages to maintain that kind of blocky look.
Yeah.
I feel like it looks like it's a lot of fun. It looks like Dark Souls, but as a 2D game, kind of like from a bird's eye view, sort of. I'm looking forward to it now. I hadn't even heard about it before tonight. There was apparently a pretty lengthy gameplay video from E3, and I'm not watching it because spoilers. But it's definitely something I'm going to be keeping an eye out for. It's coming out 2016, I think, is their tentative release date. So I'm looking forward to that. Another thing that I want to kind of talk about on tonight's episode, Helldivers, is a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation platform exclusive game. I think I've told you about Helldivers, right?
I think you mentioned it.
Yeah. Helldivers, for our listeners who don't know, it's available on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation Vita. It's cross-buy, cross-play, and cross-save. So that means you buy it on one console, you get it in the other two, and you can do cross-platform multiplayer between the three, and your save data carries over between those three as well. So if I play on my PS4 and then jump over to my PS3, or a better example would be my brother's playing on his PS3, and he levels up a couple times, and then he can come over to my PS4, log in on his account while I'm logged in on my account, and that's each controller on the PS4 is associated with a unique account. So he jumps on my PS4, and he's able to basically pick up where he left off on his PS3 on my PS4 with me. We're playing like local co-op or whatever. Wow. So it's a really cool game. I like it a lot. But the way you play it is it's kind of like a top-down twin-stick shooter where you're playing as these space marines, and you basically make up the Helldivers, which is like the Special Forces army of Super Earth, and you're fighting a three-front war against three different factions. And so the way it works is you basically capture sectors of each faction's claim in the galaxy, and you're basically trying to work your way towards their home world to destroy them, for democracy and freedom. So the way that works is when Super Earth advances to a sector, you basically have a certain amount of time to complete missions in that sector to add to the community, total cumulative amount of influence points. And so it's kind of a community-driven, war front. And I think it's really cool, the whole community-driven thing. But they just released their new update, which is called Masters of the Galaxy. It's a free update. They're going to have a physical version of the game coming out pretty soon, actually. I imagine it'll probably be around $30. Because the game itself is $20 and all the DLC is like $12. So this comes with all the DLC, comes with the base game and all of its expansions and whatnot. It's a physical release. It comes with a PS4 disc and download codes for the PS3 and PlayStation Vita versions. But it's a lot of fun. They released a new expansion. It's called Masters of the Galaxy, and what that adds is it adds like these bosses that you can fight once you've met some certain conditions in each sector of the galaxy. You can go to a special planet and fight that race's master of the galaxy, which is kind of like a big boss battle. And it's it's full on like drop in drop out co-op, and it's actually from the developers of Magicka, so there's going to be friendly fire all over the place. One of the main quirks of the game is you have these stratagems. They're like these special abilities that you call in, like you can call in like a special like secondary weapon, or you can call in a like an airstrike or something. Or like you can I think I'm trying to think of one of the, you can call in like a mech, basically, like you call in a bipedal mech, like battle mech, and all of these stratagems are called in as an orbital drop that's fired from orbit at sublight speed. So there's like a drop pod that falls on the ground wherever you throw your stratagem pod or whatever. And so basically, let's say you, me, and another friend were playing together, and you die. So I throw a stratagem that it's a reinforcement thing that basically revives you. So you fly back down to the planet in a drop pod, but you crush me in doing so, and I die. So then you have to throw your reinforcing, and this ended up being like an infinite loop of death and destruction. It's hilarious. I love that. I love this game so much. It's a lot of fun. We're gonna have to play it sometime. It is a great game.
Well, buy that. And what was it called again?
It's Helldivers, with their recent Masters of the Galaxy expansion. It's on the PlayStation Store. Great game. Definitely recommend checking it out. Now, on to other news.
I've got
Project Cars.
Yeah, Project Cars canceled on the Wii U.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I haven't had a chance to try Project Cars yet.
They were talking this game up on the Wii U. They're gonna say they were gonna make it look as good as the PS4 version. I'm like, there's no way. And now we get this news, and I'm like, I am not shocked. But
I think it's
disappointing.
Because the thing is, the Wii U doesn't have those, analog triggers.
That's another thing. Like, it's the one console.
I can't really understand how they would have made that work unless they had something on the touchscreen. That sounds like it just wouldn't work as well.
Yeah, it's like what we're talking about here is with the Wii U gamepad, they skimped out on pressure-sensitive trigger buttons because the GameCube had them,
and
the PlayStation, Xbox have had them, and it's something you should have.
Yeah,
it's
and
something you cannot skimp out.
I feel like with Project Cars, it's something that's been being received fairly well. I think it's a little glitchy, is what I've heard, but it just seems kind of disappointing. They were building it up. They were building up all this hype. Like, this is going to be the killer app on the Wii U. It's going to be, we're delaying it so that we can actually get it to look as good and not have to, take out any features. And then this happens, It's a little disappointing. Now, I still haven't had a chance to try Project Cars. I like racing games. I'm not like a racing game enthusiast or anything, but, I do want to try it sometime. I have a PS4, so I'm probably going to rent it on there sometime, give it a shot. But I've seen some gameplay. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I was wondering how they were going to make that look really good on the Wii.
And obviously it wouldn't have been as high res. I assume it would have been probably 720p.
They can make it look good, but I don't... It's just... It goes back to the decision to make that console as powerful as it is. They could have...
Well, that's kind of the thing with Nintendo. Their focus is always their focus seems with the Wii U seems to be more on gameplay. They want these more gameplay focused experiences that utilize the unique features of the console, and I feel like it's kind of a double edged sword,
But they did that anyway, and in the past with the NES, it was blowing everything out at the time.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo, more powerful than the Genesis. N64, more powerful than anything else.
Genesis had blast processing.
It did have a faster processor, but that was it. The graphics
had blast processing.
It did have a faster processor. That's true, but that's the only thing it had better. But it did come out a few years later. But then the N64, it did come out 2 years later than the PS1, but it was more powerful than anything at the time.
Yeah.
The GameCube was more powerful than the PS2. So, but then
I don't think it was more powerful than I think the Xbox is the most powerful of that.
No, I said it was more powerful than the PS2.
Yeah, I was to say
it's not more powerful than the Xbox.
Xbox had some really pretty games.
But
I think Star Wars Battlefront
looked
beautiful at times.
Like they were always right there with technology in terms of graphics.
Yeah,
but they still made fantastic games. But the Wii, they slipped up and made that thing.
The thing is, they wanted it to be more affordable, because the big issue with a lot of the current consoles was, everyone was arguing about cost. But Xbox 360 is better than the PS3 because it costs so much less or whatever.
I still think they could have made that more powerful and got away with a lower cost, but not necessarily like up to the par of the 360 at the time. But the Wii U, I think they could have made that just a little bit more powerful.
Yeah.
To the point of where you could get something on there, or at least... I think the biggest problem is that it still uses PowerPC architecture.
Yeah, it's got that. It has that processor architecture, and that makes it difficult to port games over from other consoles because they don't use PowerPC. Now, the Xbox 360 and PS3, they use their own... they also use a completely unique processor architectures, but PS4 and Xbox.
360 does use PowerPC as well.
Does it? Because I remember hearing it was actually a proprietary. Well, that's more of a technical.
It was also
thing.
a tri-core.
The point is the Xbox One and PS4 use basically what the kind of processor you would have in your PC.
x86, yeah.
This basically what this means is you have to basically, when you're coding something, you have to basically code it in such a way that basically you tell the computer to do things in a certain order. And if you don't do this in a unique way for each type of processor, your system's going to do things in the wrong order, and that's how you kind of get glitches and stuff like that. So because the Wii U is using a different processor architecture than the other two big systems that are out right now, it makes things difficult for developers to port their games over to the Wii U, and that's part of the reason, not the only reason, but it's a pretty good part of the reason as to why we're seeing so few titles on the Wii U.
Oh yeah, that is, I think, even a bigger problem than just underpowered.
I don't think that's not really part of the issue with Project Cars, though. Project Cars, it was more of an issue of just the system's not powerful enough.
Yeah.
Now, they have Project Cars 2. I think they're doing a Kickstarter for it even, and it's weird because they had their big Kickstarter for Project Cars, and they sold it. I want to say they sold pretty well on launch, but now they have a Kickstarter for Project Cars 2, and this is kind of an issue that I've been seeing coming up kind of across the internet. What do you think about them doing a Kickstarter for Project Cars 2 when Project Cars 1 just came out and they still kind of have a lot of unfinished, unfixed bugs in the game?
I think it's too early. I think a lot of companies are starting to abuse Kickstarter, in my opinion.
It seems to kind of be that way. I mean, like Shenmue 3, everyone knew probably that was going to be successvel almost instantly.
Well, yeah.
In fact,
Sony is not going to fund anything from that game other than the marketing.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to actually take a look here because it's not a PlayStation 4 exclusive. It's going to be on PC as well. Now, I believe their Kickstarters ended as of about 3 hours ago.
Like a week ago.
The 17th. Yeah. So I'm looking at this thing. It looks like they raised. I think their goal was what was it? $2 million. I think.
Yeah, and then they had like several goals after that.
Now they ended up bringing their project. They ended up making raising up to, or they got $6,333,295 out of it. Now I don't have any doubt that's going to be a great game. I'm sure that's going to be something fantastic. It's going to be a great thing, and everyone's going to freak out about it. It's going to go so great.
I hope.
But I feel like Sega is publishing it, so why couldn't Sega fund it? It may just be Sega doesn't. That's true. They discontinued all their other.
We got no money.
But it just feels weird to see a big company like Sega doing a Kickstarter for something they know everyone's going to want.
But I think there's also Indiegogo. Does that still exist?
Indiegogo does exist.
Isn't that more? That's more for like us, like indie.
Well,
kind of startup stuff, right?
It's supposed to be more for. Well, that's kind of what Kickstarter is too. Indiegogo, I think, was around first, and it was supposed to be kind of a fund my project thing, and for people who don't have funding. But it's much more of a, from what I understand at least, it's much more of a no questions asked type thing. Like they'll I think once you donate on Indiegogo, it'll go straight to the person who started the project. They don't have to meet a goal or anything, and I want to say it's a little shadier than Kickstarter. It's not as secure.
I'm sure
there's been a lot of questionable. There's been a lot of questionable projects on Indiegogo. I'm not really going to talk about those, but I feel like they need to focus on Project Cars. They need to fix the issues that do currently exist with Project Cars before they go on to Project Cars 2. Now, I haven't played it. I don't know how serious the issues are, but I feel like that's something they should really focus on doing first.
Well, going back to the Shenmue Kickstarter, a big YouTuber named Metal Jesus Rocks.
Yeah, I think I've heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big YouTuber. I follow him. He's big collector in the Seattle area. He's fun to watch. But he had made a video about the Kickstarter and how he didn't really like it that Sony needed to or Sega or whatever they needed.
Yeah, because Sony's not publishing it.
And that upset a lot of people. And it might have hurt the Kickstarter from reaching its full goals.
Gosh, they made $6 million instead of $8 million. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, there's like goals after that. There's several goals that they like.
That's true. Yeah, they had
a lot of goals after that. Like they wanted like a ragdoll kind of physics thing, or like a fighting system that, like a better combat system that I really wanted to see if they could implement, because I don't want just quick time shit. But there were several goals after that, and that really upset a lot of people. And and he did say some things that were a little ignorant about it. But
well, anyone who's angry and just ranting.
No, he's not angry.
Okay, well, yeah, it sounds like
he's very positive.
Okay, yeah.
YouTuber.
Let's say I've seen a couple of his videos, and they were all rants. But no offense to Metal Jesus.
Rocks?
No offense to Metal. I may be mixing him up with someone else.
No offense. Something up.
No offense to Metal Jesus Rock, just in case he ever wants to be a guest on our show.
He never gets angry ever. He's very. I think he's a little too overly positive about stuff, but it's like, well, not positive, but like
optimistic.
I mean, he finds a lot of.
I mean, I am.
Rarely trashes any games that he plays, but he's fun to watch. So,
well, kind of shifting gears, if you see what I did there, back to Project Cars 2. They're saying with Project Cars 2, there's going to be so much more content. They're going to have, rally races. They're going to have, a lot of stuff that, a lot of people want to see in just Project Cars. Why can't they use Project Cars as kind of like a racing game platform of sorts? Kind of like, why can't they add these new race types in there? Because, this is a big project. It was in production for a long time. There's just, from what I've heard, there's just not a lot of content there, for what they hyped it up to be. And it just seems like Project Cars 2 could be, it sounds like it's going to be what Project Cars was meant to be all along, but if that's the case, why aren't we, funding an expansion pack for Project Cars?
I don't know, but another topic.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about
Geometry Wars 3.
Well, I wanted to hit. Before that, I wanted to hit that one article from Business Insider.
Oh yeah, you did mention
about
this.
The guy, he got to play Super Mario or Mario Maker or whatever.
Super Mario.
He complained that he couldn't change the hand that it would show up on the screen when he moved stuff on the tablet. That it was only a white woman's hand.
Now, I don't want to sound insensitive. Being a white male myself, I don't really, I'm not in a racial minority or anything, and I don't like Trump around saying, yeah, I'm a white male.
I don't.
I mean, I feel like there are issues, in racial issues like that need to be addressed, and I feel like Super Mario Maker is not the right medium to address that issue in, or to bring it up as an issue in, for that matter. In addition to that, I want to say they were showing a cat paw at E3.
Yeah, since he edited the article, I believe, and said that he confirmed that you can change it or whatever.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
But it's even if you couldn't, it's who cares?
Even if you couldn't, it's Mario Maker. If you're looking at the TV while you're making a stage in Mario Maker, then I think something's probably wrong. But
other people to look at.
Yeah.
You feel insecure that you have to have a hand that's a white male or something?
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of stuff like that. Stuff like that specifically seems like it's kind of blowing the whole thing out of proportion. Because I feel like, a lot of video game protagonists are.
Yeah, let's not blow this out of proportion.
Well, the thing is, a lot of video game protagonists are, burly white men, and there are people who kind of feel uncomfortable because some video game protagonists are, they almost always have to play as, video game protagonists that they can't really physically identify with, and I feel like some people they find the Lara Croft games to be kind of a breath of fresh air, but it's something that I've never really taken too close of a look. I don't want to start like I don't want to throw gas into a fire.
Dan, Jeff, you've already done it.
Yeah,
I did it.
The thing is, I looked more at gameplay in games I play, and there's some games I'll focus more on story, like Batman, but Batman, you're gonna play as Batman. You're not gonna play as
you can play as Catwoman.
You can't play as Catwoman in Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, they have the DLC now. You can play as Batgirl, but for most of the game you're playing as Batman, and I feel like
it makes sense for this story.
I'm not saying it's not an issue. I'm just saying it's not something that I feel like with Mario Maker specifically, like tiny little things like, oh yeah, the hand on the screen is a white female hand. That's not an issue.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean,
well.
I feel like it's not something that needs to really be brought up as, oh, look at this horrible thing. This is promoting gender inequality. Wait, what? That's not right at all. It's Mario Maker. You're making Mario stages.
They're just making something up to.
That in the end, it's all about getting those page views. Much like our show. Please share and like us on Twitter. I think is that how
hit
Twitter.
That comment section below and tell them. Yeah, that could be like every YouTuber.
I want you to tell all your friends about me. How about that?
The like button. I hate when it's just like hit the like button if you like.
I feel like this is a really sensitive topic. We should
hit the down button if you don't like the video.
Don't ever hit the down. But if you don't like the video,
if you don't like the video, hit the. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it.
Geometry Wars 3. I've been playing a lot of recent. That's a good segue right there.
For a reason.
I've been playing a lot of Geometry Wars 3, a game where you cannot call sexist or promoting.
Oh, they'll find a way.
I'm sure you will.
Someone will find a way.
Well, you see, your player character is like made out of triangles, and that represents. Wait, what? I don't. Huh?
Love triangles.
I wonder if that's actually I'm gonna have to look that up because you got me curious now. But I've been playing a lot of Geometry Wars 3. Geometry Wars, yeah.
Geometry.
I played. I had Geometry Wars Galaxies on Wii, and I loved the heck out of that game. It kind of added some new interesting things, and Geometry Wars 3 kind of adds on to that. It kind of brought back a lot of those things, and it's not the prettiest game. I feel like Geometry Wars Retro Evolved on Xbox 360 looked a little nicer. Is a little more colorful. Well, this one's also colorful, but I feel like the grid effect just worked so much better in that one. Here I've seen like bullets and enemies and stuff like clip into the grid. In this one, it doesn't work as well, but they have a lot of really cool new gameplay elements. I was playing before we started recording. Actually, I was playing a new game mode. It's called Pacifist Mode. You have one life. You can't shoot, and you have to fly through gates to destroy enemies around the gates as you fly through them. And it's a bit horrifying because you're playing Geometry Wars and you can't shoot. Mm-hmm. So, Dan, you've played Geometry Wars, right?
No, I have not.
You haven't? Do you know what the gameplay of Geometry Wars is?
Vaguely.
It's like have you played Robotron?
No.
Well, have you played a twin stick shooter?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a twin stick. It's
I played Neo Galaxies. Neon, what is it called?
Oh, Super Stardust HD.
Yeah. That and the one on Wii U. Neo Galaxies. What is it called?
I don't remember that. Anyways,
it's like that one company that makes like Speed or Fast or whatever it's called.
Oh, I think I might know what you're talking about. Anyways,
company thing.
Anyways, Geometry Wars is basically as simple as a twin stick shooter as you can get. It's like top down. You have your little small like simple geometric shape for a ship, and you move with the left stick, shoot with the right stick, and you have like a super bomb you can use, and you have a little in Geometry Wars 3 and Geometry Wars Galaxy in their main adventure mode, you have a little drone that follows you around and it can help you out, and you unlock new drones as you go on through the adventure mode. But I can't believe you've never played Geometry Wars. You're gonna have to we'll have to meet up sometime very very soon and get you to play some Geometry Wars because you need to play some Geometry Wars.
I like geometry.
I don't care. But no, Geometry Wars 3 is pretty fun. Not the greatest. I think reviews kind of reflected that, though. So it's got a lot of interesting game modes, though. I will give it that.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, very fast-paced arcade challenges.
This recently, I just thought of this. There's a new kind of a football game that is now just been. It was on Steam Greenlight. It now was released as of like a week and a half ago. It's made by one guy. He made all of everything, and it's still right now. It's kind of iffy. It still needs a lot of work. Needs a lot of animations, and graphical things right now.
What's it called?
Axis Football League 15.
Access Football League 15. I'll have to look it up. I actually just totally dropped my mouse on the floor. Let me go ahead and pick it up. And
he doesn't, it's not going to really compete with Madden. It's not meant to do that. There's no way. Because Madden has hundreds of people in it. As bad as the game as it is. But with this game, they have like made up teams. And they got like, they're all like parody teams basically. You got the Kansas City Indians instead of Chiefs. You got like, I'm trying to think.
It looks like it's actually, I'm guessing it's like a Unity browser-based game thing. It's some browser-based game. I'm looking at it right now. It looks like it's also available on Congregate and a couple other free games websites. I'm taking a look right now.
Yeah, and it's a more. It was sponsored on. Not sponsored, but it was talked about on a channel. Ryan Moody, 21. He breaks down Madden. All the problems with it. He'll sit there, take a play, and break down everything that's wrong with it. He uploads a lot of videos, and he went to E3 to talk to developers about Montana 16, and he broke the news that it's mobile. Well, not broke the news, but they said there that it's only mobile, and that disappointed a lot of people.
So, what is the Axis? Oh, it's Axis Football League, like AXIS.
Axis.
Okay, I was going to make sure I was looking at the right thing.
But if he gets, the guy that made this, if he gets more resources, more people to work on this thing, this could be something that's huge, I think.
This looks like this is pretty good fun so far. I'm not really too familiar with football games, but this is have you ever played NFL Blitz?
Yeah.
It's
64 days.
I need to play that sometime because I've been so long since I've played NFL Blitz. It's kind of like an NBA Jam style football game.
They even had like
not understanding what's going on in this at all. So I'm just gonna close this. And
that company also made like a baseball and a hockey one.
Did they? I did not know. I know they did Wayne Gretzky hockey on N64. I think that was
like MLB. I think it was called not Slugfest.
Sluggers.
That was the king. It was like something. It was like NFL Blitz, but baseball. But then, I remember hearing like parents were really upset. Like, oh, would a baseball player do that in real life? Like, it's just for fun.
Well, QuakeCon is happening.
Yeah, QuakeCon is this weekend.
Yeah, we aren't going to be there in any capacity at all.
Isn't it free?
Don't look for us. Is it free? I don't think it is because they sell those tickets sell out really fast.
Well, there's like certain. I'm trying to think. Oh, it's free.
Oh, I did not
It's
know
in
that. Well,
Dallas.
either way, we're not going to be there in any capacity. Sorry, guys. But if you're there, feel free to email us. We'll have the email address, not like the full. We'll have like it separated with like dot in parentheses or something, but in the video description. But if you're at QuakeCon and you see something that just blows your mind out of the water, email us about it, and we'll talk about it on the show maybe. But I know they're going to be showing Doom there, I think, along with probably Fallout 4 and
yeah, they've
probably
already
a lot of the Bethesda stuff.
They've already shown stuff. I think it started.
And then they've got that QuakeCon Steam
Yesterday.
sale going on this weekend as well.
Too
I
bad I'm
think
broke.
Elder Scrolls is on sale right now. That's not really going to be relevant by the time.
I think I own like almost everything
Probably, yeah.
they've made.
Well, another thing I wanted to talk about, that I totally forgot about just now. I'm trying to think of what it was. I had another topic, and I can't remember what it was. Yeah.
Well, I think that wraps it up for today.
Well, there was also one more thing that I had written down. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 released about a month or two early, I think.
2 weeks early.
2 weeks early, yeah, because I think Scott Cawthorn. I think we were talking about him on our last episode too.
Yeah, we talked a lot about him.
That'd be a cool guest. I'd like to have Scott. I'd like to have Scott as a guest on our show. He seems like a decent guy. But I feel like what I heard. I think what you were telling me is he was originally going to release it on Halloween, but then he pushed the release up to August, and then he just kind of threw his hands up in the air and said, "Okay, it's out right now." So, interesting. I've seen some gameplay videos. It looks like they've done a lot of interesting new stuff, a lot of F&V stuff. I want to check it out because it looks like
I want to get through the first 3 first, and
yeah,
then
you've got you've been playing through.
I almost beat Night 5. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too spooky.
Too spooky 5U.
Because freaking Freddy, man, he's actually active on Night 5, and that is you gotta watch out.
Mm-hmm.
His demonic laugh.
It's got that.
Creepy.
It's got that. Kind of arcadey type, structure to it. Like I was talking about this in our last episode. It's kind of got that arcadey structure to it, and you get that adrenaline rush kind of going in you. I assume you've kind of felt that.
Very spooked.
You feel like when you lose at the very, very end of Night 5, you feel that adrenaline rush.
Like you're dead in real life.
Well, you feel like you have this kind of impulse feeling to kind of just immediately try again.
Yeah, unless you're. I had times where it's like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, that'll happen with horror games, though.
And I heard, well,
I feel like it's a wonderful design.
There's one more topic I want to just touch on, and then we'll wrap the show up.
Surprise topic.
We'll wrap the show up, but it's about Nintendo. That sources are saying it's unlikely Miyamoto will be the next president.
Yeah,
which is what I was saying. He's not really into doing all business stuff all the time. He's a developer. He's got to be hands-on with some of these projects. He wants to still be involved.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't
president.
see. Yeah, because he's a very hands-on developer, and he's still trying to kind of mentor these teams, and he's still directly working on Star Fox, Giant Robot, and the security camera game. And it's just, I can't see him. It definitely, the way it sounded like a very temporary thing. Until they can find someone to, step up.
Well, it's going to be probably Takeda, in my opinion.
Takeda? Now, he was the guy that was on the Wii development team, right?
I mean, he's been there since the beginning.
Okay.
I mean, it was like I think their first game developer.
Mm-hmm. It could be, and it might end up just being someone new. I don't.
Although
really
I'm kind of worried though because I think it was him that proposed the whole idea of what the Wii was, which.
Well, he was one of the lead developers on that project.
Which worries me because I don't want them going down that kind of path again.
And while we're talking about Nintendo, I actually heard that the rumor regarding Devil's Third being canceled actually ended up being false. It is apparently still coming out in America.
Wow.
So
it was a lie then. They said it was boring or whatever.
Apparently, it's not been being received too well overseas.
It's out yet now?
I want to say it is out in Europe, I think.
Really? I've not heard this.
No. It has not been being received too well, though. It's actually coming out on PC as well.
Really?
In overseas. I don't think it's coming out on PC here in America. I want to say it might be out in Japan, but apparently...
No, it says it's coming out August 4th in Japan.
Huh.
So it's not out yet.
Okay, I don't know where I heard that from, but I heard that the rumor regarding it being the rumor regarding it being canceled. Now, that rumor had been derived from the fact that Nintendo had removed it from several release calendars and it wasn't shown at E3. But apparently, it is not canceled. It is still coming out. Apparently, so.
I'm reading here reception on Wikipedia. I mean, it's Wikipedia, but it's usually
yeah.
It says reception for the pre-release, early previews. They're saying mostly negative, with complaints about crappy graphics, heavily inconsistent frame rate, stiff aiming, and input lag.
That's what I've been hearing, and it's apparently just not.
I will not buy it.
Yeah, the developer says you need to. The developer apparently said in multiple interviews you need to play it with a Classic Controller Pro and not a gamepad. Because the buttons on the gamepad are spaced out too far, but the buttons on the Classic Controller Pro are the exact same layout. Okay. So it's a little odd.
I think that about wraps up the show for today.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know if this ended up being a shorter episode than usual. What are we at right now in time?
We're about 50 minutes.
Hey, that's slightly shorter.
That's average. For, our last one, we've been getting longer every time. The last one was an hour and 15 minutes, but. Yeah. This one, I was hoping to cut it a little more short. But
yeah. Well, I feel like this one, it didn't end up being too long. That's the important thing.
The next episode might be.
Next episode,
we might. I don't know how this is going to work. I have no idea how guests work and all. If there's any compensation or anything.
We need to get our guinea pig guest on the show. And
we're bringing Shigeru Miyamoto on. We got it. He's coming on.
That's not. Yeah.
With Bill Trennan as the translator. Yeah.
That would be the greatest. I want to meet Bill Trennan and Shigeru.
I want to Bill. Yeah.
Bill's like
Miyamoto. Damn it.
Yeah, that'd be a cool interview. Anyways, as we dream about what the unlikely future holds in store for us.
Yeah. Well, I mean. We'll see if I can get
Oh yeah, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about. Tetris: The Grandmaster Challenge 2. I just want to mention this real quick. It's a version of Tetris that was released in arcades in Japan in the 90s, I think. And it has a mode called Doubles. Now, Tetris: The Grandmaster Challenge is considered to be the most difficult version of Tetris available. It is it's a very popular. I think it's the most popular version of Tetris. It's the most difficult version of Tetris, apparently, and it's basically pure Tetris. So there's no holding blocks or anything. This is pure straight up Tetris, and it's very fast paced. There's a mode called Doubles, is the multiplayer mode. The cooperative multiplayer. They made cooperative Tetris, and there's it's really scary. You and the other player, your blocks drop at the same time. You control them at the same time, and you're sharing the same playfield. It's a wider playfield, but you're sharing that same playfield. It's horrifying. Because your blocks, as they're falling, can still collide with each other, and so you can block the other player's way over to another side of the playfield. It's so scary. I watched a speed run of it a while back, and it was so horrifying. I could not comprehend what was going on. But I know you have to be familiar with Tetris, right?
Oh, I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
Obviously,
I've played.
Obviously, and so imagine the playfield's a little wider, but you and another player are dropping blocks at the same time. On top of that, your level in Tetris, you gain a level every couple lines that you clear. The higher your level is, the faster the blocks fall. Your level is unique to you, so when you clear a line, your level goes up. When your teammate clears a line, their level goes up. So your blocks are going to be falling at different speeds, which makes things even more horrifying.
Yeah.
So really scary stuff. If you guys have a chance, if you are listeners, definitely check out Awesome Games Done Quick. They did a speed run of it last year. And on that note, Awesome Games Done Quick 2015 starts in a couple days, I think, actually. They do speed runs of games for charity. Awesome event. Totally check it out. It's all live. That's my last little quip. I was trying to remember my thing that I wanted to talk about earlier. So,
yep. I think that wraps up today's show.
Absolutely. Clocking in at a short 1 hour.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll get in contact with some guests. We'll see what goes on.
Yeah.
Can't guarantee anything. I don't know if we even want to yet. I don't know. We'll see.
If we can get someone on, that'll definitely help us. And I'm sure it'll be entertaining for our listeners as well.
Cause I just want to.
I switch between listeners and viewers.
Because I think it was really interesting.
This actually sounds with Doom and 3DO. It sounds like a very interesting
programming talk too.
Yeah, that's actually something I'm interested in. I'm actually very, very interested in the 3DO. It's something I don't know a lot about because like I said, I collect classic game systems, and the 3DO is kind of in that one elusive gem that we've been chasing for a while.
Yeah. So your dad will get it sometime. Well, anyway, thanks for listening to our podcast.
Yeah, thank you for listening in. We'll be back next week. Same podcast time, same podcast. Is that what?
We'll
is
find
that
out.
what we say? I don't know.
Yeah, middle of the week.
That's the end of our episode.
When we release it, I don't know, but
when it's ready.
Because I didn't release last week's until like Monday night, Tuesday.
Yeah, but you were out of town though, and you're the one that handles that. I'll handle most. I'm gonna probably be the one handling the mailbag. So you guys need to send us those emails so we can have things to talk about.
All two of you.
All two of our loyal viewers. If you guys
no subscribers.
If you guys want to be a guest in our show, also send that to our mailbag. Email address will be in the description of the video.
Bring random people on.
Yeah, you're Joe from California. I don't know.
What do you do for a living?
I work at Walmart. I play COD sometimes. Yeah, cool. Now, if you're a developer, someone in the industry wants to come on our show, talk with us about video games, let us know in our mailbag, and we'll see what we can do.
Yep. Well, that wraps it up. So,
thank you for listening, guys. We'll talk to you again next. We'll be back. You
will be back for you. Next time next week.
I'm the high-level Porky Pig voice. Yeah.
Can't just stutter right. Okay. Anyway, well, so long.
Good night.
See you next week.
Good morning. Good afternoon. I don't know what time. time of day it is. When...
So long.
Power cut. No, I'm not doing cut anymore, since I know you're leaving that